Hi guys, my name is Jonah, and today for Storytime, I'm going to be reading the story of Guess How Much I Love You by Sam McBrandy and illustrated by Anita Duran. This just shows God's love, but in a different way. So here's the book. Little Nut Brown Hare, who was going to bed, held on tight to Big Nut Brown Hare's very long ears. He wanted to be sure that Big Nut Brown Hare was listening. Guess how much I love you, he said. Oh, I don't think I could guess that, said Big Nut Brown Hare. This much, said Little Nut Brown Hare, stretching out his arms as wide as they could go. Big Nut Brown Hare had even longer arms. But I love you this much, he said. That is a lot, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. I love you as high as I can reach, said Little Nut Brown Hare. I love you as high as I can reach, said Big Nut Brown Hare. That is very high, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. I wish I had arms like that. Then Little Nut Brown Hare had a good idea. He tumbled upside down and reached up the tree trunk with his feet. I love you all the way up to my toes, he said. And I love you all the way up to your toes, said Big Nut Brown Hare, swinging him up over his head. I love you as high as I can hop, laughed Little Nut Brown Hare, bouncing up and down. But I love you as high as I can hop, smiled Big Nut Brown Hare, as he hopped so high that his ears touched the branches above. That's good hopping, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. I wish I could hop like that. I love you all the way down the lane, as far as the river, cried Little Nut Brown Hare. I love you across the river and over the hills, said Big Nut Brown Hare. That's very far, thought Little Nut Brown Hare. He was almost too sleepy to think anymore. Then he looked beyond the thorn bushes, out into the big dark night. Nothing could be farther than the sky. I love you right up to the moon, he said, then closed his eyes. Oh, that's far, said Big Nut Brown Hare. That is very far. Big Nut Brown Hare settled Little Nut Brown Hare into his bed of leaves. He leaned over and kissed him good night. Then he lay down and close by whispered with a smile, I love you right up to the moon and back. And that there is the end of our story. But in this story we see that Big Nut Brown Hare and Little Nut Brown Hare have this argument, this competitive of who loves who more. But we can say that God loves us the most, and his love is never ending, and we always will have it. It can't be taken away from us. It's one of the most beautiful things is His love just keeps going. It's unboundless. Just as little nut hair keeps trying to outdo big nut hair, big nut hair just keeps going. Going to I love you to the moon. Big nut hair, I love you to the moon and back. The same thing works with God. We say, I love you, God, to the moon, and God says, I love you to the moon and back. We say, I love you to the farthest star, and God says, I love you to the farthest star and back. His love is amazing, it's wonderful, and it can't be taken away. So remember that you are always loved, and you're a holy and beloved child of God. Thank you for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed.